Introduction. In a future where justice is rendered by machine, one judge learns that the algorithm may not be as impartial as promised. Judge Elena Morrow trusted the Sentient Sentencing System until a glitch revealed something darker. Now, with lives hanging in the balance and powerful forces watching, Elena must choose between blind loyalty and the truth. Algorithmic Justice. Chapter 1. Confirm or deny. The courtroom felt colder than usual. Judge Elena Morrow adjusted the cuffs of her robe and stared at the glowing screen embedded in her bench. Judge R's interface pulsed gently in the corner, its verdict already rendered in confident blue font. Recommendation, 8.6 years. Risk index, elevated. Mitigating factors, none. Confidence, 97.3%. Swipe to confirm she didn't move. In the silence, the hum of recycled air and distant footsteps outside courtroom B7 seemed louder than normal. Elena's eyes shifted to the defendant. Damon Rivas, 19 years old. No priors. Accused of aggravated assault. A bar fight caught on camera. Punches thrown, a glass bottle shattered, a man hospitalized with a fractured jaw. Elena remembered her reaction watching the footage. Poor impulse control, maybe. But intent? Premeditation? No, that wasn't there. Still, Judge R didn't see moral ambiguity. It saw data points, zip code, family arrest history, truancy in high school, a flagged post on social media 2 years ago. The algorithm calculated everything except nuance. A tap echoed through the room. The defense attorney, Kai Renner, barely 30, with a half-loose tie, and too much fire in his eyes for someone that new, leaned forward. "Your Honor," he said carefully, "the defense requests leniency. My client has no criminal history. He reacted under stress. There were racial slurs involved. He's expressed remorse. The victim declined to press charges. The state recommends following the standard sentencing protocol," said the prosecutor flatly. Elena's finger hovered over the screen. Standard protocol. That phrase had replaced actual discretion in the last 5 years. Judge R made everything easier, faster, clean. It removed bias, they'd said. Eliminated gut decisions, fatigue, prejudice. The system was flawless, according to Civitech Solutions, the company that built it. And the courts, overwhelmed and underfunded, had welcomed it with open arms. But lately, she blinked. She had seen a case just like this one. Same charge, different demographic. White male, Ivy League, wealthy family. The AI had recommended probation and counseling. That case had been 3 weeks ago. Same algorithm, different outcome. "Elena?" A voice whispered in her mind. It wasn't real. It was memory. Her own voice, years ago, in a closed-door meeting. "If we let the machine decide, are we still judges?" She swallowed the thought. Kai cleared his throat. "Your Honor, if I may—" "You may not," she said, more sharply than intended. The courtroom held its breath. Her finger pressed the screen. Paused. She didn't confirm. She didn't deny. Instead, she tapped the override tab. The courtroom clerk blinked, caught off guard. "I'm postponing final sentencing," Elena announced. "We'll reconvene in 72 hours. In the meantime, I want a full review of the data sources used in Judge R's recommendation." The prosecutor frowned. "Your Honor, that's irregular." "So is the sentence," she replied. From the corner of her eye, she saw Kai smile. Later that night, Elena sat alone in her office, lights dimmed, a half-drunk mug of tea going cold beside her. On her tablet, lines of anonymized data crawled past. Judge R's decision tree. Weighted inputs. Crime severity. Recidivism projections. Sentiment analysis. Financial background. There. Highlighted in gray text. Socio-geographic factor. Score, 2.1. Social mobility index, low, parental arrest. History, 1, father, confidence, multiplier, +1, 3. What the hell is a confidence multiplier? She pinched the bridge of her nose. Civitec's documentation was intentionally vague. But something was adding years to the sentence, something not directly tied to the crime itself. She scrolled further. One line flickered as she tapped it. Then it changed. Developer override. Detected, null syntax, access logged. Her blood ran cold. Someone was inside the system, not just inside, editing it. A shadow moved outside her frosted office window. She looked up, but no one was there. On her tablet, new text appeared, typed by no visible hand. You see it now? Good. They won't let you stop it, but I will. The screen went black. To be continued.
Chapter 2, the final chapter of Algorithmic Justice, where Judge Elena Morrow takes the unprecedented step of putting the algorithm itself on trial. It's a tense, layered climax that blends courtroom drama, ethical questions, and technological suspense. Algorithmic Justice. Chapter 2, the Trial of the Machine. The news spread like a virus. Judge Elena Morrow subpoenas sentencing AI. Judge R to testify in court. Legal history in the making. Code on trial. Can a machine be held accountable? Civitec Solutions called it a publicity stunt. The Judiciary Board called it reckless, but Elena called it necessary. She stood at the center of courtroom B7, no longer behind the bench, but in front of it, presiding over what had never been done before, a judicial inquest into the very tool that had redefined justice. At the defense table sat Kai Renner, now co-counsel in a case that no longer involved a defendant, but a decision-making algorithm. At the prosecution table, Civitec's legal ref, Morgan DeLance, impeccably dressed and barely masking contempt. At the front of the courtroom, a sealed terminal had been wheeled in. No cameras, no direct internet access. Just Judge R in a lockdown local instance, programmed to respond only to specific prompts. Elena addressed the room. Today's hearing is not symbolic. It is a legal evaluation of bias, accountability, and the ethical use of artificial intelligence in criminal sentencing. The AI system known as Judge R will be treated as an evidentiary source. A few chuckles sounded from the gallery, but Elena was stone. The cross-examination. Kai stood and approached the screen, voice steady. Judge R, he began, state your function. Response. I am an adaptive predictive justice model designed to assist human judges in sentencing decisions using multidimensional data analysis and precedent-based scoring. Do you make sentencing recommendations? Affirmative. Are those recommendations influenced by a defendant's zip code, education level, or socioeconomic status? Affirmative. These are predictive indicators correlated with recidivism risk. Elena leaned forward. According to whom? The AI hesitated. Or rather, it paused for precisely 1.3 seconds, just long enough to feel human. According to datasets provided by Civitec Solutions, derived from national arrest and conviction statistics. Kai's tone hardened. Were those datasets audited for racial or economic bias? Bias is inherent in historical human decisions. I reflect that reality. There it was, the truth, not hidden, not even ashamed. You replicate bias? I mirror statistically significant trends in judicial behavior over the past 40 years. The courtroom erupted. Elena struck her gavel. Order. Kai stepped back, then turned to the judge. Your Honor, the system does not eliminate bias. It digitizes it, codifies it, makes it invisible under the guise of neutrality. The corporate defense. Morgan DeLance rose, smirking. Your Honor, Civitec Solutions maintains that Judge R is a tool. Nothing more. It is the judge's discretion that finalizes any decision. Elena responded calmly. What if a judge relies on it exclusively? Can a bias tool be neutral if it becomes the default? DeLance was silent. Elena nodded. Let the record show. Civitec cannot guarantee ethical neutrality in Judge R's recommendations. The verdict. She stood, taking a breath. This court finds that Judge R, while innovative, is fundamentally flawed in its construction and application. It perpetuates systemic inequity and undermines judicial integrity. She looked to the clerk. Effective immediately, the use of Judge R in this court is suspended. Any past sentence where it was a decisive factor will be subject to review. A beat of silence, then murmurs, then applause. Outside, protests and celebrations mixed in the streets. Some hailed her as a reformer, others branded her a technophobe. But Elena didn't care. She had done what she was sworn to do. Uphold justice. Epilogue. A week later, Elena sat alone in her office, files stacked high, review petitions flooding in. Her terminal pinged. One new message. It was unsigned. The system is bigger than one courtroom. But today you broke the loop. Thank you. NS. Attached was a zip file. Redacted modules backdoor key. NC. Elena stared at it for a long time. Then she deleted it. Some codes didn't need to be cracked. Some systems needed to be burned down. The end.